United States mission in Nigeria on Tuesday highlighted Nigeria's plummeting economy. In a startling post on X, the post referenced various media outlets, including a publication by the Africa Report titled "Nigeria's Ruling Class Splashes Billions on Government Houses." The report highlighted how governors lavished billions on building or renovating government houses despite the prevailing economic hardship in the country. It also noted that while President Bola Ahmed Tinubu asked Nigerians to endure the economic hardship resulting from his policies, the governors do not share in the sacrifice. The U.S. mission also shared quotes from transparency and accountability advocacy groups on its official handle, eliciting a flurry of reactions. Let me take the tweet from the U.S. mission. They wrote, "While Nigerians are urged to endure economic hardship like labor pains, some governors are splurging billions on new government houses." They posted a link from the Africa Report. They also posted a quote from Budget Nigeria saying, Budget warns that instead of funding schools, clinics, or agriculture, leaders prioritize buildings they barely used. And then there's another from Sislak Nigeria saying that there is more money, little accountability, and no priority. Such alleged lack of fiscal responsibility fuels inequality and erodes public trust. With the hashtag Transparency Tuesday. Have you been following U.S. mission? I mean, this is about the first time I'm seeing this hashtag Transparency Tuesday. They are not holding back. And I didn't understand why that tweet came out yesterday with the, that hashtag Transparency Tuesday, but I'll come to you. Let me take a tweet about a reaction. Some people might agree or disagree with Onyali Kalu, who wrote, "It's deeply concerning that the official social media handle of the U.S. Embassy in Nigeria appears to be amplifying narratives aligned with opposition parties, particularly through the promotion of content that consistently undermines the APC-led federal government and President Tinubu's administration. While we respect the sovereignty of nations and the principles of free speech, it is expected that foreign diplomatic missions operate with neutrality, especially in a sensitive and highly polarized political climate. Any perception of bias, intentional or otherwise, risks compromising the spirit of mutual respect and non-interference that guides international diplomacy. Nigeria's democracy must be left to Nigerians. We welcome constructive engagement from our international partners, but not in a way that could embolden domestic actors bent on destabilization under the guise of political opposition." I mean, that is a thought there.
Beautifully
Do you like that?
Okay. Very beautifully expressed. Yeah. I think it encompasses it all. Yeah. There's several issues, but I think the main issue, that the biggest takeaway from this is, are we comfortable with any country that is outside of our borders, being this vocal with regards to criticizing a sitting government? I think governance, accountability, and all things surrounding are important conversations to have, but they should always be done within the realm of diplomatic. There's a reason why we call it diplomacy, because there's a certain tone that it has to take. And this coming on Twitter, it felt a little bit like an attack. Now, we know that the current American administration, Donald Trump's administration, does do things in a very non-traditional way. However, it is also always important as a diplomat, as a representative of your president and your government, to ensure that you respect the sovereignty of the country where you operate. Because what this does is it amplifies other conversations that are taking place. What are these conversations? African governments are consistently, not just African, developing country governments are consistently accusing some of these global superpowers of interfering, of instigating regime change, of doing what we call color revolutions, which is when they get involved with various NGOs and sectors of opposition to destabilize the nation. So that is of huge concern. Yes. And it also follows, if you remember, around Democracy Day, there was also a communique that was issued around freedom of speech and so forth, which embodied the rest of the diplomatic core. At least the tone of that particular message had been more around the realms of the rule of law. But this one really felt extremely charged and opinionated. Is it true? Yes. The governors are enjoying a largesse as a result of the removal of fuel subsidy. FAC allocations have gone sky high and they're enjoying that. And we're not seeing a lot of developmental initiatives from it. It's correct. However, this is not how we would expect a diplomatic mission to comment on the politics of the day. Diplomatic missions are always supposed to remain non-partisan.
Well said, Vimbai, well said. I mean, talking about some of the comments that they raised, Mission X, I mean, especially with the governors and all of that. Meanwhile, Kaduna State Governor Uba Sani has said that it will be nearly impossible for any Nigerian governor to oppose President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's re-election bid in 2027. Speaking at the Sir Ahmadu Bello Memorial Foundation's two-day government citizen engagement event in Kaduna on Tuesday, Uba Sani attributed this unwavering support to Tinubu's unprecedented level of assistance to state governors and local governments, surpassing any previous president in Nigeria's history. He argued that this significant backing has fostered broad loyalty among sub-national leaders. Let's take a look.
Most of us who are the leaders in northern Nigeria, I think we should be open enough to take the blame because there was silence. Where was our voices? Nobody was speaking in the last 10 years. Nobody was speaking in the last 15 years. Nobody was talking in the last 20 years. And we were sitting watching. The developmental indices in northern Nigeria, both the northwest, the northeast, and the north central, have deteriorated completely in the last 20 years to date. If we don't take very serious action, we might not have a region called the northern Nigeria. So we have to be careful. And we should stop blaming President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I can attest to the fact that we are getting a lot of support from President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And this support is not because we are APC governors. The support quote across all governors, irrespective of party affiliation. That is why today, I am not sure if there's any governor in Nigeria that can come out and say that he can go against the president, because the president is doing to us what no president in the history of Nigeria have done for subnationals in terms of support.
All right, Uba Sani here, he has made this point, and he actually got a lot of Nigerians speaking, but he actually spoke the truth. A lot of governors are getting support from, the federal government in terms of all the allocations and everything that, has been going on so far since the president assumed office. Your thoughts?
In as much as I like Uba Sani, I disagree with him. You have no right to say that. Yes, they get support. Is the money free? Is this not the money from the sufferings we are going through with subsidy removal that is now being channeled to the state? So it's one way or the other. It's still our money, and you should stop acting like President Tinubu is dashing them the money. It's still our money. It's our common. No. With due respect, Mr. Obasani, you're wrong.
Okay.
Every governor has a right to be able to support whoever they're going to support.
All right.
The largesse is from the federal port, our commonwealth. It's not that President Tinubu is out of his volition. And these were part of the things he said when he removed subsidy removal. And with due respect, Nigerians are suffering the effect of the subsidy removal. So he should not even go there. And please, with due respect, this mindset that, it's a governor that determines who wins the state mindset that we have, it's not true.
Okay.
Ifeanyi Okowa was from Delta State. He lost Delta State. He was vice presidential candidate in last year. He lost Delta State to Peter Obi. So please, let's even, he's talking partisanship now. This I don't support.
But what about the fact that he said no governor will oppose Tinubu?
No governor will oppose. He has no right. He should speak for himself. Or is it all the governors? How will he speak for all the governors?
Okay, go ahead.
I'm even shocked that Obasanjo is saying something like this.
Go ahead.
I respect it too much for him to say something like that now. He should speak for himself. Is it all the governors? I know governors that will oppose Tinubu and they will come out and will tell you. Moving on. As regards the American thing, see, we open ourselves up to the Americans to do all of this. Yes, I get your point totally about sovereignty. I also get your point that what they are saying is right. But we open ourselves up. Are we not the same Nigerians that are so quick to go and say, give them visa ban, politicians that are doing wrong in this country? Are we not the same Nigerians that are so quick to go and open our port down for them to be able to give us aid? Are we not the Nigerians that are so dependent on their aid? Is it today we know that America always interferes in global politics? Salvador Allende in Chile. Is it today that we know that America funded a national daily in Chile to be able to usurp Salvador Allende and supported the likes of Augusto Pinochet? Is it today we know? It's not today we know now. So let's stop deceiving ourselves. All the NGOs that you see that are cited, their budget and all of that, is it today we know that NGOs get funding from American governments? So let's stop deceiving ourselves. That's why we say for us to be a sovereign nation, we must start with credible, sensible leadership. A leadership that caters to his own people. A leadership that does not disgrace his own people. When they get a lot of money, they go and build government houses.
Right.
A leadership that invests in the welfare of his own people. So that's where we should start from. It's not today Americans will be poke-nosing into the affairs of every government, and they will constantly poke-nose. Well, you know, in this country, when we had to wait for John Kerry to come and broker peace deal between Buhari and Goodluck Jonathan, are we not the ones constantly calling them for peace? Is it not the same political actors that are bringing them to meddle into our affairs if it favors them or it doesn't favor them?
Right.
So why are we surprised?
All right. Dr. Abati, your thoughts on
just
both?
to state a principle of international, customary international law. Article 41 of the Vienna Convention on Diplomatic Relations, 1969, states the principle of non-interference in domestic affairs. And the whole idea of it is to ensure cordial and stable relations between missions operating in host countries. So what the United States has done would seem very unusual, because if you look at Article 2, Sub 4 and Sub 7 of the UN Charter, it also includes this prohibition of interference in domestic affairs. Also, that was the decision of the International Court of Justice in DRC versus Uganda. So that's the position of the law. However, you find countries violating it, and they run the risk of being declared persona non grata, because when you get involved in domestic affairs, it could cause diplomatic friction. So it's not just about sovereignty, it's about the very principle of diplomacy itself. However, some countries consider themselves superior countries, and that's why they go beyond the boundaries. And America, under President Trump, has been behaving like the superpower controlling the entire world. However, one caveat is that in that post, you see that they try to play safe by quoting Nigerian bodies. CISLAC, Budget
Yes.
Nigeria. So it's as if they are providing a summary of public perception in Nigeria since they write diplomatic notes. In other words, the intelligence that these missions, that's embassies, diplomatic missions, that they rely on, is in fact provided by the local people themselves. And so you have a country where people are criticizing their government, they are demarketing their own country. If they want to write their diplomatic notes, you know, their dispatches, they just summarize what Nigerians are saying. So if you take them to task, the other side of it is that, well, we're just reflecting public opinion. What they have said about transparency and accountability, I ask the question, is it true or false? Answer. It is true.
Very,
All right.
true.
All right. Your thoughts
Very,
on
very
Ubasani
correct.
quickly, and then we move.
Well, I mean, President, I said President, maybe he will be President one day. Governor Ubasani was speaking at the Ahmadu Bello Memorial Foundation event. And it was in the context of Northerners criticizing President Bola Ahmed Tinubu as not doing enough for the North.
Right.
The North having given him 64% of the votes, 5.6 million out of the 8 million plus votes that he got in the 2023 election. And he was defending the president to say that, in fact, the president is doing a lot for the North, and that governors have been so well treated by the president that, in fact, he doesn't think anybody will go against him.
Did he lie?
In 2027.
Right.
And he was not alone. The SGF, George Akume, the NSA, Nuhu Ribadu, the Chief of Defense Staff, Christopher Musa, also spoke along the same line. So
right.
the contest is important.
Very important.